Hi, Virgo. Welcome to your tarot reading. If you're new, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. Either way, thank you so very much for being here and thank you for sharing your energy with me. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to pull a traditional Celtic cross spread. Whatever message comes out is what Spirit has for you, it's what the collective needs to hear. I've set that intention with my guides and my deck. So we're going to pull from the tarot, and then I did bring out some oracle cards as well to pull from at the end to get any additional messages. So if you're here because of the title or because this is on your feed, this message is definitely for you. So we have the Sun card on the bottom. Happiness, growth, vitality. I love that. All right. So be sure and like the video. Leave a comment if you feel called to do so. Definitely subscribe if you like the messages. And all of those will help to grow my channel, but it also pushes my messages out so other people can get them as well. So I really appreciate you doing any of that. All right. So again, the Sun. This is about joy, happiness, vitality. The Sun is my favorite card in the whole deck. This is all of the things that make you happy, right? It is spiritual growth, abundance, money, prosperity. It is happy home, whatever that looks like for you, the ultimate happiness. That is the Sun card. That's the underlying energy here. So I feel like your happiness is what's at play here, really focusing on the things that bring you joy and happiness. The situation is the Seven of Pentacles. So with the Seven of Pentacles, it is about growth, whether this is growth in a relationship, growth in business, growth in your spirituality, growth in general, right? Growing as a person. And this is about growth and patience, like waiting for things to come into fruition, right? So he's planted this seed and he's watching all of this grow, right? And like enjoying those, watching the fruits of his labor come together, right? So it hasn't really been brought to harvest yet. He's being patient and he is waiting for things to come together. He's putting in the work, that day-to-day activity, right? But he is kind of looking at this, wondering, is this worth putting in the effort, right? Is this worth putting all of this energy into? And I feel like the blockage here is the Ten of Swords. So the Ten of Swords is about a very painful ending. It is, painful cycle, going through some type of manipulation, lies, just very heavy energy and very defeating type of energy, right? So you could feel very defeated, but it's also like refusing to end some sort of painful cycle. So I feel like you are kind of looking at something thinking, is this worth my time? And this could be a job, this could be, family, this could be a love partner, like really looking at it, wondering if it is worth it and needing to put an end to this painful cycle, really, letting things go, moving on from things, because there's resistance when with that Ten of Swords not ending some kind of painful cycle, and you're just pouring work into something that is very defeating. So the root of this is the Strength card, and the Strength is all about the internal strength, right? It's not just like being strong externally. It is like that internal being strong, really having that self-confidence and believing in yourself, but also being internally strong in order to push through obstacles, right? You are strong enough to end this cycle. You are strong enough to walk through whatever this Ten of Swords energy is. And you know that it's going to be painful, but you can get through this. So, the Strength also makes me think of like compassion, because she has this lion here, right? And this lion is very strong and, they can be very aggressive, but she is treating this lion with kindness and compassion and gentleness, right? So I feel like, yes, you need to be strong and push through things, but you also need to have some compassion for yourself, because this is a really difficult ending. That Ten of Swords is a very difficult energy. So in the past, we have the Seven of Cups, and the Seven of Cups is confusion. It is feeling disillusioned here, like maybe wishful thinking. Maybe in the past you thought that it was worth it. You thought things could work out. You were really hopeful and kind of like delusional, right? And I feel like it was very confusing for you. Things could have been confusing with you and another person, or the situation in general that you're pouring all of this work into could have just been really confusing for you. And Seven of Cups is also about like needing to make a choice, really needing to decide, right? They have all of these cups here in front of them, and they need to choose one of these cups. I don't know why I keep thinking like this mask. I keep seeing the mask in this card. They generally don't have a mask. I mean, maybe in one of the cups on the Seven of Cups, but maybe somebody was wearing a mask and it was very confusing for you. I don't know why that's standing out to me on that card. That may be for just a few of you, but it was very confusing. So your higher self or subconscious, we have judgment. And judgment is like an awakening, right? These people are literally waking up here, and this is an archangel, this is spirit, source, whatever you want to call it. This is that aha moment, like a spiritual awakening or like some kind of reckoning, right? It is really seeing things for what they are and kind of going through some type of rebirth, a new beginning here, like a whole new self, like seeing the situation for what it is and waking up to that inner knowing and going through a rebirth, right? So in the near future, we have justice, and justice is all about karma. It is reaping what you sow. It is things coming, things being fair, truth, honesty. So this is like justice coming in, like your good karma coming in here. It's also about being balanced. Like this person's holding these scales. So there is balance coming in here. You could have felt imbalanced, or things in this situation could have felt very imbalanced. And I feel like that's going to change in the near future. There is balance coming in here. There is justice, fairness, things playing out in your favor here. So in your feelings, we have the 10 of Cups. I feel like you are really focused on, again, your happiness. You have the 10 of Cups and the Sun card here. So I think you are feeling, again, like really focused on this 10 of Cups, really focused on what your happiness is for you. And that, again, that could be the white picket fence. That could be the perfect job. It could be, your perfect partner here. It could be all of those things, right? But I feel like you are really focusing on your happiness here and what it is that you want to bring into fruition, what it is you want your life to look like. So the influence here, or in your environment, we have the Six of Cups, and the Six of Cups is past memories. It is nostalgia. It is, like this comfort zone, right? Needing to leave a comfort zone. And that could be what this 10 of Swords is, that resistance. Like you're afraid to leave a comfort zone. But you're really sitting here looking at it. Is this worth putting all this effort into? Is this worth pouring my energy into, right? Whether this is a job or a love relationship or, family members, whatever it is for you. This is like comfort zone energy and really needing to put an end to things. And I feel like sometimes that's what keeps us stuck in situations, because it is very hard and very painful to go through when you are leaving people behind or you're leaving a love relationship. You want to stay in this comfort zone. You want to stay in these memories, right? But I also feel like you could kind of be like fooling yourself here, right? With this wishful thinking and then this 10 of Cups and this 6 of Cups, like you wanted this to be your 10 of Cups. You wanted this to be your ultimate happiness, and you're stuck in the nostalgia and the memories of that. But you are focused on what you want it to be and not focused on what it is, right? That's what that judgment is. That is that aha, seeing it for what it really is. And again, with this mask, like maybe the mask is now off, whether that's somebody else's mask or you're taking the mask off and you're really seeing things for what they are. And you're not, kidding yourself, and you're not disillusioning yourself, like not focusing on what could have been, right? With this 10 of Cups, like really knowing what it is that you want now, and that pouring into whatever the situation is not what's going to bring that to fruition. And I feel like you're suddenly realizing that now. So your hopes and fears, we have the Ace of Wands. This is like a passionate new beginning. I feel like you really do want this new adventure, this new passionate beginning. This could be a creative project that you want to start. Maybe this is a job and you're really afraid to leave this job because you feel like you won't have, you're in this comfort zone. You feel like maybe you're the provider for your family and you feel like you can't leave this job because, whatever it is that you want to work on won't bring in enough money, whatever it is for you. That's just one example. It doesn't have to be that. But this is taking some kind of new opportunity. The aces are gifts from spirit. And this is like this new gift, this new idea, this new creative project, some kind of new adventure here is really what you are hoping for. And the overall outcome is the Five of Wands. So Five of Wands is competition. It is like really fighting for what it is that you want, right? So maybe you have like a clash with others. Again, if this is like about a job, maybe you're clashing with family members, you're clashing with friends, like other personalities that are telling you this, that you can't do this, or people at your job that are telling you, that's not going to work out. Whatever this is, there is some kind of like, it's a battle of the minds, right? Is what I think of the Five of Wands. And it is kind of like this clash of egos type of energy. And I feel like that's, it's not going to be easy, but you definitely have the strength to overcome this. There could be some obstacles with this and starting something new, but I definitely feel like you have the strength to overcome that. What do they not see coming, spirits? Awesome. So you have the Two of Swords, the Nine of Wands, and the Queen of Wands. So the Two of Swords is needing to make a decision. It can be like stalemate energy, right? Like you're stuck in not making a decision. This is indecision. But I feel like, again, with that Judgment card, this is you kind of taking that blindfold off and seeing things for what they are and making a decision. And then we had the Nine of Wands, which is like looking at all that you have been through, right? So the Nine of Wands, they call the wounded warrior, right? He has this bandage on his head, but he's the wounded warrior because he's been through all these lessons, right? Each one of these wands represents a lesson. And he's kind of looking back at everything that he has learned and really looking to the past, again, with these past memories. And then the Judgment is about leaving the past behind. So this could be about like you finally seeing all of the things that you have been through and then stepping into this Queen of Wands energy, right? This very charismatic, very creative. You have that Ace of Wands, which is like a creative new adventure. And the Queen of Wands is that fiery, passionate energy. This is Sagittarius, Leo, Aries energy, that fire sign energy. But it is just kind of stepping into this more creative, more charismatic, really go-getter energy, going after what it is that you want. And, they called her the Witch of the Tarot because she has this black cat here, but it's because, she really manifests what it is that she wants. She's charismatic. She's creative. She's, got that fiery, passionate energy, and she goes after what it is that she really wants. And she brings those things into fruition, right? So I feel like that's just you kind of stepping into that energy, really making a decision, seeing things for what they are and seeing all that you have been through and then stepping into that Queen of Wands energy here. So what is the advice for Virgo, spirit? So there will be a decision made. Ultimately. Focus on that Ten of Pentacles, right? Really kind of maybe take a time out, pull back from things. With that Ten of Swords, that's not easy energy. That is like a very heavy energy. So you have the Ten of Pentacles, which is, again, that's that wealth that it could be about family, right? Maybe pulling back from family. If this is family, like that clash of egos, that Five of Wands, maybe pulling back from family. And with the Page of Wands, it is like being optimistic, being fiery, right? Again, with the fire energy, lots of wands here. Maybe you kind of need to like reignite your passions, reignite your spark for life. So with that Hanged Man, that can be like seeing things from a different perspective. Again, finally seeing things for what they are and gaining a new perspective here and really being optimistic about the future, being enthusiastic, really adventurous, right? That Page of Wands is all about kind of new energy. Again, with that Ace of Wands, like this is new, being optimistic, maybe going on a new adventure, learning something new here. And I feel like that is, really focusing on the long term here with that 10 of Pentacles and seeing it differently, right? Again, if this is you needing to leave a job, maybe seeing that over time, this is really going to lead to the 10 of Pentacles. It may not right away, right? Like it may take time. But I feel like this is you following your passions, right? When you follow your passions and you're happy in what you do, that's ultimately what's going to lead to that 10 of Pentacles. So it's again just finding that happiness, right? That sun was on the bottom here. I feel like this is just you embracing, finding your happiness and going after what makes you happy. This new adventure. And finally realizing that you've been pouring into something that is, been very confusing, or it just hasn't been what you wanted it to be. And you're finally seeing things for what they are. So let's get you some oracle cards and kind of wrap this up. That's not an easy energy. So, again, you had that strength card here. You do have the strength to push through this. So you had soar. You're being asked to stop dimming your own light, period. It's time for you to come out of the shadows and let your authentic self soar. Fly high. Yeah, finally seeing that whatever it is you've been pouring into, whether this is a job, a relationship, whatever this is, it's been dimming you. And it's time to let it go. It's time to leave the past behind. Forgiveness. Withholding forgiveness only hurts you and prolongs the pain. It's time to forgive someone, or maybe even yourself, so you can stay on the path of your highest potential. Yeah, I know sometimes I blame myself for staying in places too long, right? And really pouring into things that I shouldn't have, and then I kind of beat myself up about it, right? Don't do that to yourself. Definitely forgive yourself. We have self-doubt. You're questioning yourself and unable to move forward. Don't let fear hold you back. You have the strength and power to see it through. Now is the time to break free from this limiting pattern. Yeah, this not ending some kind of cycle here. And you really do have the strength to end that. And I know that that's not easy to do, but it is definitely worth it. And it is going to lead to lots of happiness, right? This 10 of Pentacles, the Sun card here. So you're definitely ending something here. I think you will make that choice. You had that 2 of Swords. So ultimately you will make the choice and really step into that Queen of Wands energy. So I hope that message helped, and I will see you next time. Bye.